Hi, my name's Phil. I like to come out of politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss how Lee Anderson discovered that his new party, Reform UK, not quite the rabble-rousers they bill themselves to be. In fact, they're incredibly insignificant. In struggling to come to terms with this, old Leanderthal has complained that Labour must have changed the parliamentary rules. So really quick video, but as well as poking a bit of fun at Reform UK, which I think might be a bit of a hobby of mine for a while, this is actually a useful thing to discuss because it explains some parliamentary procedures. Because Leanderthal is claiming Labour have changed some aspect of it. Like, no, they haven't. The government can't actually change parliamentary rules. Only Parliament can do that. And if Parliament chose to change some rules, Anderson would have been invited to vote for them. He wasn't, because no rules have changed. He's just switched from being part of the majority in the House of Commons to part of a tiny, tiny fringe. And he's a little bit too thick to understand the difference. So what's this about? Well, Leanderthal claimed that Labour had stitched him up by modernising Parliament. I wish they would, by the way. But he suggested that they'd changed the committee system based on the fact his party don't have seats made available to them on the select committees they like. Now, I don't know exactly what he's wanted for this. You know, maybe the Reform UK MPs are having a discussion with each other and they will all go, right, well, we want to ask lots of questions of ministers on immigration. That's their big thing, isn't it? Immigration. And they're all saying, but, you know, the problem is we don't get to ask automatic questions. So Leanderthal will have said to him, mate, what we do, right, it's really easy. I'll get put onto the Home Affairs Select Committee. Then I get to ask all the questions of these ministers when the Select Committee has hearings. And they go, oh, brilliant idea, Lee. You sort that out then. And he's obviously gone along. I don't know that it was for that Select Committee, but let's say he's gone along and said, I want to be on the Home Affairs Select Committee. And the parliamentary authorities said, well, you can't be. And he's gone, oh, they've changed the system. I could last time. They've changed the system. Now, the system hasn't changed. The system's exactly the same. What's changed is he's gone from being part of a party which represents 56% of all the seats in the House of Commons and therefore gets the same representation in select committees, to a party which represents 0.9% if we count the TUV partnership. Because here's how it works. 11 seats on a select committee, right? Seats are allocated to parties according to their representation in the House. So if there's a particular select committee you want to be on, this is how your party gets you onto it. Or not, as is the case for 30p Lee. So Labour won 63% of the seats. So that works out at 7 seats on the committee for them. Actually, it's technically 62% now, but it still works out at 7 committee seats. So if you've got some Labour MPs who are like dead keen on being on, say, the Defence Select Committee, for example, and Keir Starmer says, oh, yeah, you should absolutely be on that, they've got plenty of seats to play with. They can guarantee those positions. The Conservatives have got 18% of the seats, so they get 2 seats on the Select Committee. And the Lib Dems have got 11%, so that works out at 1 seat. So the 3 largest parties between them have now occupied 10 of those 11 seats. That leaves 1 seat left for everyone else. So that's Reform UK, the Green Party, the SNP, Plaid, Northern Ireland's parties, the Independents. Reform UK, if it got seats on the committee equal to its representation in the House, would get 10% of a seat. That's like a foot. Leanderthal can get his foot amputated and request that it be placed on that select committee. But as I suspect he doesn't want to do that, and I also reckon the parliamentary authorities would still say no, it's a bit grim, and of no administrative use at all. So he'll just have to come to terms with the fact he doesn't get to pick and choose which select committee he sits on, nor does his party leader even. The only party leaders who've got enough representation in the House of Commons to pick and choose representation on select committees are Keir Starmer, Rishi Sunak and Ed Davey. Just the latest way in which Leanderthal, who obviously learned very little about how Parliament works as an MP over the last few years, is going to have to come to terms with the fact, despite his party's boasting about being this like super awesome force in Parliament, it's a bit player. They have the power to stand up and ask questions or make statements every now and then. And if they choose to waste that power by asking stupid questions or making nonsense statements, that's up to them. They're not going to pressure anyone into doing anything. The power of Parliament is its voting power. And Reform UK have about 1% of the vote. So, you know, have fun with that. But nothing has changed about the way select committees work or are formed. He used to be part of the big gang on the block that got to pick and choose who went on different select committees. Now he's a sewer rat. That's what's changed. He'll have to get used to it. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for further content and click the like button. You can also sign up for memberships if you'd like to support the channel further. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.